Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? So today is Faith Friday, right? And what I wanted to talk about briefly is everybody always talks about how they have faith, right? You know, I got faith, but faith really is action. And what I mean by that is, I use myself as an example. I remember when, my department and everything had got laid off, and I was on the job search, and I would see these jobs, and on paper, I didn't qualify for, right? Like this was just merely on paper. But in my mind, I was like, if I can get into the system, I know that I can thrive. What they're looking for, I don't look like on paper, but if I get into the system, I know that I would thrive. And there was a moment where I wouldn't even apply for those positions, right? And then as I stepped back and I just really had a talk with myself, and I'm like, how can I say that I have faith, but my actions show otherwise? You see, if you have faith that God has got your name in rooms that you're not even in yet. When you have faith, you can look at a circumstance and say, you know what? If God sees me here, then I'm going to be here. But I have to have action. So I had to apply for those things that on paper that I didn't look like that I qualified for, right? And here I am today. I am in a position that maybe on paper, I didn't look like I belong. But my faith in God caused me and my actions to proceed. And that's a dilemma that a lot of people face now, right? Because a lot of people, they say they have faith when everything seems like it's going according to plan. You can have a career and it seems like everything is going into plan. So you have faith. You are one of those people like, oh man, I got faith, all this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. But the moment it goes off track, you begin to panic. The moment that you feel like, put it like this. If you ever been with or worked with someone who complained about everything, they complain that they had to come in the morning. They complain that everything is a complaint, right? And you're sitting there and you like, well, if you complaining so much and you don't like it, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you apply for something else? And then they turn to you and say, man, the economy's bad. I ain't trying to this, that, and other, right? So they just want to complain. There's no faith in that. I'm a firm believer that God has inherently put something in all of us. And we go through life trying to figure out what that thing is. And a lot of times what that thing is does not look like what we feel that it should be. I think I've used this analogy a long time ago, is where your dream can be to sing. That's your dream. But guess what? What God has put into you is to write the songs. So now you're in a dilemma, right? Because your pride is saying, I want to sing, but your gifts is saying, but I write better songs for other people. You have to decide, is the glory you getting out there and singing and not making it? Or is the glory utilizing your talents that God has put into you? On basketball teams, right? In the NBA, we as fans, we look at them and we have the nerve to call someone sorry in the NBA. Like we literally would be like, man, they sorry. But if they were to play with us, they would average 100. And that's not even sugarcoating it, right? Like we see these summer leagues when these pros come and they drop in 80 and you like, why can't you do that? You know what I'm saying? In the NBA, right? Because guess what? They're playing within a system. So in that system, maybe all that is required is to average 10 points. Maybe what is required for them, for that team to win, is to average 10 points, but then average 8 rebounds, 3 steals, and 4 assists. Now that don't look sexy to the people out there, but those teammates love that person because guess what? They are fulfilling their roll. They have put that pride aside, right? Because these people that come into the NBA, along the line, they've averaged 30. In high school, they were the man. College, they were the man. Now they are in a different system, and that's life. One of the worst things that I hate is being around people that keep reliving their high school, you know what I'm saying, like how they were in high school. Yeah, I was averaging this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. That's cool, but you're not doing it now. But you're stuck there because that's where you felt like, oh, I was demanding this, that, and other, right? But time has passed on. That wasn't for you. There's something inside of you that needs to be birthed into the world. And I've said this so many times. That's why so many people walk this earth uncomfortable. That's why so many people can't clap for the next person because of what they're battling inside. They are uncomfortable inside because they haven't released what needs to be birthed into the world. That's why I do what I do, because I look at it as somebody out there needs to hear something that I have to say. And in doing that, I'm blessed. See, a lot of times people do things when money's attached to it. And guess what? They're never fulfilled because there's never enough money. When money is your sole purpose, you can never have enough. That's why you had these little stupid sayings about, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's the dumbest thing I have ever heard. The dumbest thing I have ever heard. So that means you live your life on go, meaning you're never fulfilled because you always think there's greater. And then you say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. What about if you got kids? What about if you're married? What about if you're in a relationship? So you mean to tell me that you spend your whole life on the go and you sleep when you're dead, right? That is the most selfish thing that I've ever heard. It is selfish. Right? And a lot of times at the core of that, it's because you lack faith. Faith is action. That's why, like, I don't even entertain certain conversations anymore, right? Because if I entertain certain conversations, then it derails my faith. Because when I'm facing stuff, in my mind, I'm just always thinking, God gonna make a way. And sometimes that way doesn't look like what we want it to be. I'm always grateful for all of these positions and stuff that I thought that I should have that I didn't get. I'm grateful for that because that was God's protection. Hence comes the word kicking in the door, right? But that was God protecting me for something that I wasn't ready for. So anyways, man, this was my Faith in It Friday, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, somebody got something out of this, right? Because I had a conversation with someone, and a lot of my conversations, you know, this is what I'm grateful for, is for people that I have just met, right? There's no prejudice. There's no nothing, right? It's people that I have just met. And you can have a conversation, right? Because nobody holds you to what they think you should be. And that's key. That's key because in life, there's growth. And in growth, there's being uncomfortable. It's painful, right? But sometimes people don't want to see you grow because if they see you grow, it shows how much that they're not. So anyways, man, I thank y'all and I thank y'all for the support, man. Love y'all.
Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.